Marjorie works as the Assistant Director of Nursing, Infection Prevention and Control, Mater Mary Misericord University Hospital, Dublin, Ireland. Welcome, Jinsi.
First, I'll outline the demographic differences between Ireland and Kerala and how this potentially impact the management of COVID-19. Then I'll discuss the incidence of COVID in Ireland and community interventions. And finally, I'll describe the management of COVID surge in the hospital where I work in. The Ireland is an island in the North Atlantic with a total area is around 85,000 square kilometers, almost double the area of Kerala with a total population of only 49 lakhs. The population density in Kerala is around 860 people per square kilometers according to 2019 guidance, and this is almost 12 times higher than population in Ireland, which is around 72 people per square kilometer. So the difference is shocking. So the Kerala's elderly population is more than the total population of Ireland. So the COVID-19 pandemic reached in Ireland, Republic of Ireland on 29 February 2020. And to date, there has been a total of 26,644 confirmed cases and 1,772 COVID-related deaths in Ireland. So far, 3,364 COVID patients required hospitalization and 438 required ICU admission. The median age of COVID cases in Ireland was 47 years, but the median age of COVID-related death is 83 years. In Ireland, there is a lesser incidence of COVID in elderly in comparison with the younger adults. Only 0.32% of total population above the age of 65 were diagnosed with COVID-19, which accounts for almost 8% of total COVID cases in Ireland. But when we look at the death rate in this group is really alarming. The virus have claimed the life of 93% of all elderly who have been diagnosed with COVID. So this almost same what Dr. Shenoy just explained there. Once it affects the elderly, their life is at risk. Most of them had underlying illness or lived in nursing homes. Around 30,000 medically vulnerable lives in care homes, and 15% of them have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Ireland has taken a very proactive role in reducing the spread of COVID-19 in the community, and that may be one of the reasons attributed to the low incidence rate of elderly COVID cases. On 12th March, 12 days after the first case presented in Ireland, the country went into lockdown and the government shut down all schools, colleges, childcare facilities, and cultural institutions, and advised cancelling of all small and large gatherings, including St. Patrick's Day, which is the national festival of Ireland. So similar step has taken in Kerala, which is really appreciated very well nationally and internationally. And we were very proud to see how Kerala progressed on these matters. So the lockdown measures we took included like cocooning our elderly and medically vulnerable to COVID-19. So all these elderly were requested to avail public health assistance for accessing food, medicine, and casual cocooning. They were asked to stay at home, and if somebody is working, they were requested to work from home as much as possible. And if they need to, their travel was essential, they were advised not to share the journey with anyone who is not cocooning with them. All people were encouraged to avoid touching people or shaking hands or touching surfaces and maintain physical distance of 2 meters. And use of face coverings in all indoor public settings, shops, and public transport is now mandatory in Ireland. Also, there are dedicated shopping times and dedicated queues for elderly, so they don't have to share the queue or they don't have to stand along with other adults in the community. There is an ongoing public health campaign for hand hygiene and mask use. Another successful measure was to test, trace, and isolate all COVID contacts. So we adopted this approach to seek, you shall find. Till August 3rd, we completed 6.5 lakh COVID tests. So the need for aggressive testing has been already discussed here by Shenoy, and which is really appreciating that will actually reduce the number of COVID cases. That's a little bit about how we manage COVID in the community, and now we'll focus how we handle the pandemic in the hospital. I work in the Mater University Hospital, which is a 600-bedded tertiary hospital in Dublin, in the capital of Ireland. So it's equivalent to a medical college in Kerala. The Mater Hospital also houses the National Isolation Unit for Infectious Disease. So it's also a referral central hospital for ECMO or ECLS for COVID and non-COVID cases. Prior to our first COVID case, a steering committee was established, which was fully supported by the hospital management and all key stakeholders. So a strategic plan was developed to manage the COVID-19 surge. So far, we have treated 1,049 COVID cases and had 53 deaths. We completed more than 10,951 in-house COVID tests. We used GeneXpert and FlowFlex for testing, and the results were available by end of the day. So it really helped us to manage the surge very well. When we look at the surge, within 24 hours of the first COVID admission, we received 72 suspected COVID cases in our emergency department. We had to divide our emergency department into COVID and non-COVID area. So we color-coded the area into red, yellow, and green zone. Then COVID critical patients were then admitted to red zone who require mechanical ventilation or non-mechanical invasive ventilation. And also COVID suspected non-critical patients were diverted towards yellow zone, and non-COVID medical and surgical emergency admissions were diverted to green zone. So a triage tent was erected outside the emergency department to quickly categorize these patients and manage their flow. We had to create an extra bed spaces to accommodate the surge. The first option was to decant the hospital and discharge all stable patients and transfer the patients who need the medical care to the nearest private hospital. So this was negotiated nationally between the Department of Health and private hospital groups. Myra Hospital is also a national referral center for trauma and stroke. So we had to move the hospital trauma center and our fracture clinic to nearby small orthopedic hospital. So all elective surgeries were canceled and transferred to, initially what we had to do is we changed our pre-surgical wards into COVID wards. And later on, we had changed almost 9, we had dedicated 9 COVID wards. So during the peak, there were more than 120 COVID positive patients admitted to hospital in a given day. Another task we had was to increase our ICU capacity from 18 beds to 55 beds. So the space was only for 18 patients. So we upgraded our high dependency unit into ICU. Also, our cardiothoracic high dependency unit was upgraded to accommodate non-COVID ICU admissions. So we brought additional ventilators and we brought machines for non-mechanical ventilations. Then this difficulty was ICU staffing. It was a real challenge because we only had ICU nurse capacity for 18 patients. Then the ICU and the theater staff facilitators actually trained up to upskill the nurses to become ICU nurses. Then the infection prevention team actually provide face-to-face training to more than 3,500 employees. And we also developed essential training videos so the staff can actually view it online. We uploaded that into our website. The next phase, we had to protect our oncology, hematology patients. So we had to move our oncology, hematology unit off-site into a nursing training center to mitigate the risk of COVID transmission to such a vulnerable group. All essential hospital appointments had to be changed into virtual clinics, and our consultant actually viewed the patients virtually. So there were virtual clinic and telemedicine were used for multiple disciplines such as diabetic, cardiac, rheumatology, warfarin, or care of the elderly person. If any patient needs to be seen essentially by a consultant physically, they were given appointments to come into particular locations. So another important way we managed our COVID was developing a virtual COVID clinic. It was developed to manage the COVID-19 patient to manage the COVID-19 cases at home. A 24-hour remote monitoring team was there and they monitored the patients from home. So this facilitated early discharge of the COVID patients and readmission if needed. So this remote team actually got in touch with the COVID patient every day. The patients submitted the symptoms online toys and we assess them remotely. So this clinic was very successful in increasing hospital bed capacity, because if we could keep all 1,000 patients in the hospital, it was really impossible to manage the surge. We had to increase our environmental cleaning and decontamination. We recently published our research in the Journal of Hospital Infection, how successful the effectiveness of the cleaning and decontamination process was. So we used chlorine-based product, and we also purchased a UVC decontamination robot to clean the patient room. Sourcing the personal product PPE was a huge struggle. 3 million euro, almost 24 crore, were spent on PPE just for 3 months surge use. We had to develop algorithms. We developed almost 54 COVID pathways and algorithm to support the staff. If anybody requires it, I'm happy to share them. This was made available to all staff on a COVID center, which is an information hub on the internal hospital website, which is really appreciated by every staff member in the hospital. We also developed a centralized data dashboard.
Hello, Jancy. We are exceeding our time, so please.
Okay. So the last point is the hospital enforced visiting restrictions, and we limited our visitors only for critically ill patients. But the midst of all pandemic, we successfully completed multiple heart and lung transplant, HIPEC surgeries, and many other life-saving surgeries. And managing COVID-19 still continuing to be an ongoing challenge. We have established policies and protocols, and we have to minimize the spread of COVID-19 and care of patient safety. Thank you.